You live your whole life in this incredible machine, your body, but how often do you really stop and look at the blueprints? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We are taking an amazing guided tour of the inner architecture that keeps us all going, the human trunk.
I mean, have you ever really thought about what's going on in there? What's holding everything in place? What's shielding your heart and lungs from the outside world? Well, you're about to find out.
Now, the field we're diving into is called gross anatomy. And don't let the name fool you, it's not gross at all. It just means we're looking at the big picture, the structures you can see with the naked eye. No microscopes needed today, just an appreciation for the magnificent architecture view.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the powerhouses in your abdomen. Then we'll check out the body's protective armor. After that, we'll head down to the pelvic foundation that holds it all up. And then, this is the important part, we'll see why all of this matters when things go wrong.
Okay, first stop on our tour, the upper abdomen. Think of this area as a non-stop, bustling city center. It is jam-packed with these incredible powerhouses working 24/7, handling everything from digestion to immunity.
First up, let's meet an organ that doesn't always get the spotlight, the spleen. It's tucked away in the upper left corner of your belly, kinda behind your stomach. It's a super important filter for your blood and a major player in your immune system. But check out its location. It's nestled right behind your lower ribs, which makes it a little bit vulnerable.
And here is a super cool trick to remember the spleen stats. Just think of odd numbers. It's about 1 by 3 by 5 inches, weighs around 7 ounces, and is protected by ribs 9 through 11. It's a handy little mnemonic, right?
Now let's cruise over to the right side and meet the undisputed heavyweight champion of your internal organs, the liver. This thing is massive. It's the largest gland in your body. And what's really amazing is its blood supply. It gets fresh, oxygenated blood like every other organ, sure, but it also gets a special delivery of nutrient-rich blood straight from your digestive system. How cool is that? It's a brilliant piece of engineering.
Of course, the liver doesn't work alone. You can't talk about it without mentioning its partners in crime. Hiding right underneath it is the gallbladder, which is basically a little storage tank for bile. And then, tucked behind the stomach, you've got the pancreas, a true powerhouse that makes digestive juices and critical hormones like insulin.
So this chart kind of lays it all out for us. But look at that last fact about the pancreas. Its tail literally stretches all the way across your abdomen to touch the spleen. It's just a perfect reminder of how compact and incredibly interconnected this whole system really is. It's not just a bag of parts, it's a neighborhood.
Okay, so we've met all these crucial, soft organs. But what protects them? Well, let's move upstairs and look at the incredible fortress that guards them, the thoracic cage, or as you probably know it, the rib cage. This is your body's built-in suit of armor.
This cage is made of 4 main parts. You've got the sternum, that's your breastbone, right down the front. Then you have 12 pairs of ribs, wrapping around from the back. In the back, they all anchor to your spine, specifically the thoracic vertebrae. And here's the magic ingredient. Flexible cartilage connects the ribs to the sternum, which lets the whole cage expand every single time you take a breath.
But, get this, not all ribs are the same. The first 7 pairs are called true ribs. They each get their own private connection to the sternum. Then you have ribs 8, 9, and 10, the false ribs. They're clever. They just piggyback onto the cartilage of the rib above them. And finally, the last 2 pairs are floating ribs. They don't connect to the front at all, which gives your diaphragm plenty of room to move.
In that breastbone, the sternum, it's not just one solid piece. It's actually 3 parts fused together. At the very top, you have the manubrium, where your collarbones connect. The big long part in the middle is the body. And that little pointy bit at the bottom, that's the xiphoid process. And it's the super important anchor point for muscles like your abs.
All right, from the chest, let's travel all the way down to the base of the trunk. We've arrived at the pelvis. This powerful, basin-shaped ring of bone is the foundation that supports your spine, anchors your legs, and cradles all the important organs in your lower abdomen.
Now, here's a common misconception. You might think the pelvis is just one single bone, but it's not. It's actually a complex structure made of several bones that have fused together to create this incredibly strong and stable base for your entire upper body. See, each of your hip bones is formed from 3 separate bones that join up as you grow. The ilium is that big, flared-out part you can feel when you put your hands on your hips. The ischium is the sturdy part at the bottom and back. Yeah, that's what you're sitting on right now. And the pubis is the part at the very front where the 2 hip bones meet. And the pelvis itself is split into 2 neighborhoods. You've got the false pelvis up top. It's wider and helps support your intestines. But below that is the true pelvis. This is the narrower, bony basin that actually holds the bladder, the rectum, and reproductive organs. And as you can imagine, this area plays a absolutely critical role in childbirth.
And speaking of this area, it's where we see some really significant anatomical differences between the sexes. The urethra is a perfect example. In females, it's pretty short, about 4 centimeters, and it has one job, urination. In males, it's way longer, about 18 to 20 centimeters, and it has to do double duty for both the urinary and reproductive systems. Okay, so we've been on this amazing architectural tour, but why does knowing this map of our insides actually matter? Well, it matters because when things go wrong, this map is exactly what doctors use to figure out the problem. Let's connect this to the real world.
Remember how we said the spleen's location makes it vulnerable? Here's a perfect real-world example. If someone fractures their lower ribs in a car crash or a bad fall, those sharp bone fragments can literally puncture the spleen. This can cause massive, life-threatening bleeding. Knowing the anatomy explains exactly why that injury happens. Or how about the gallbladder? It has this tiny little nook called Hartmann's pouch. It seems like a totally random detail, right? But that little pouch is the #1 spot for gallstones to get stuck, which causes intense pain and blockages. It just goes to show you, sometimes the smallest anatomical details can cause the biggest problems.
And one more thing on the spleen. Normally, you can't feel it at all. So if a doctor is examining a patient and they can feel the spleen, that's a huge red flag. An enlarged spleen, or splenomegaly, is a major clue that the body is fighting something serious. It could be a bad infection or even some types of cancer. The size of that one organ tells a massive story.
So really, what's the big takeaway here? This isn't just a biology lesson. This is the roadmap that lets doctors figure out why you have a pain in your side. It's what helps them understand car crash injuries and plan surgeries. It shows us that our bodies are both brilliantly designed and, in some ways, beautifully vulnerable.
And with that, our tour is complete. I really hope you've got a new appreciation for the complex, incredible universe that's constantly working away inside of you. So my final question for you is this. After seeing it all, which marvel of your own inner architecture will you think about differently from now on? Thanks for taking this tour with me.